So I feel like we should probably talk about like your injury and like how that came about and that. So obviously it was say 21 years ago.
It was
Yeah.
96, so what was that, 22 years ago now.
Wow. So you're a veteran now.
I'm a veteran, yeah. I had my half-life a little while ago, so
Oh wow.
I got
Yeah.
to the point where I've had more of my life post-injury than I had before my injury, which is a bit of a weird thing.
Yeah, I got another 10 years of that before
Yeah.
that point. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. How old were you when? Yeah.
So I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
I was doing a mechanical engineering degree at Warwick Uni, and I'd finished my first 2 years, and every year I went away in the summer holidays with my schoolmates. We went sort of camping down to Devon, and we'd done the same that year. There was a big group of like, I don't know, 14, 15 of us. And one night we'd been to the bar on the campsite, had a couple of drinks but not too many, and then we quite often go up into like a headland overlooking the sea, and just sit around and chat. And I've been doing that with 2 or 3 friends, and there were sort of some benches at the top of this headland and one bit that overlooked the sea, and then there was a sort of cave system down one side, and I think I was walking towards a tree which I thought was growing sort of near the edge of the sort of cave gully area.
Yeah.
And I was just mid-sentence, so my friends told me that I was halfway through a sentence and then there was just silence. So I was just walking over a little bank towards a tree, and I think the tree was growing from halfway down the sort of the gully, and so I got to the edge before I got to the tree without realising, because it was dark and
Yeah.
couldn't see very well. So I ended up falling. Must have just taken a step, and then there was nothing below it. I do remember like a couple of impacts. Obviously, it was pitch black, and then landing on the rocks below, which is about a fall of about 40 feet.
Wow. Big drops.
Yeah, and I got to the bottom, realised pretty quickly I couldn't move anything. I had another friend who just realised that I'd gone somewhere halfway through a sentence, tried to go and find me, and he also he sort of fell down, but as he was falling, he managed to sort of throw himself onto his stomach and grab a few things on the way down, and he landed very close to me, luckily not on me, but he was all scraped up on his stomach and stuff, and he then sort of raised the alarm. He realised, I said to him, "Look, something wrong, don't move me." I knew that it wasn't a great, something bad had happened. So they went and raised the alarm. He had to find his way out of this sort of cave, and go and get the Coast Guard to come out. And it was a big old rescue. It was like a helicopter, and the helicopter couldn't land anywhere because it was so overgrown. And they had to end up putting me on a stiff like board that they recover you on, and lifting me above their head and walking out to sea with me carried above their head, so that the helicopter winch could come down, and it was where the kind of cave widened, so that they could actually winch me up into the helicopter without banging on the walls on the way up, sort of thing.
That's crazy.
So it was a pretty dramatic rescue.
Yeah.
And I was in Salisbury, Spinal in it, because that was the closest one to the injury in Devon, for about 9.5 months.
Yeah. So like, well, how did that sort of feel like? Were you say you're aware like what had happened, like in the moment, and that, and like you were conscious and that, so you sort of had an idea of what was going, like what sort of going through your mind? Were you trying to keep calm, or?
Yeah, I think I was pretty calm. I was obviously worried, but I knew something bad had happened. But to start with, sort of if you bang your knee, sometimes you can't like move it, anything. It just like feels numb, and you can't move it for a little while. And I thought, maybe this will come back after a while. And then, by a few minutes' time, when I realised I couldn't move, you realise that something much more drastic has happened.
Yeah.
And I had some knowledge of first aid in that sort of situation, so I was like, as soon as my friend arrived, I said, don't move me, because you don't know what extra damage you're going to do. And I think I had a steroid injection from the paramedics when they first arrived, and the not moving bit, and some people have told me, I don't know if it's true or not, but that might have been what kind of helped me be an incomplete injury, that there was less spinal swelling,
Okay.
and that might have been a factor towards me being incomplete rather than a complete injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worrying when you're down at the bottom of the cliff and it's pitch black and you can smell the sea and you can feel a rock on your head, but you can't feel much in the rest of your body and you can't move anything. So, I mean, your injury was diving into the sea, wasn't it?
Yeah, but so, yeah, because mine wasn't from any height or that. It was just running in like Baywatch cycle.
Yeah.
Dove into.
I presume you were then in the sea and unable to move.
Face down in the water. And
yeah.
I was a lifeguard, so for me it was like I knew about spinal injuries through learning how to, if someone has one.
Yeah.
So I was just like, keep calm.
Yeah. And someone came to find you in time, obviously.
Because I was a swimmer, like holding my breath underwater was like, I was just like, hold my breath for ages.
Yeah.
And then just like sort of blacked in and out of consciousness, and then next thing I knew I was on the beach, like lying with the face in my sun in my eyes.
Okay.
Surrounded by people.
So did they have to resuscitate you?
I still don't really know.
Okay.
So it's sort of like I wasn't with it at all at that point. But all I remember saying is like, don't move my neck, I've got a spinal injury. So I knew.
You knew that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just like, don't move me.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird experience though.
Mm.
Yeah, it's almost like my body just sort of forgot about everything apart from being a lifeguard.
Yeah.
Just knowing to protect myself.
And I think your body sort of shuts down a bit as well, doesn't it? I sort of feel like I was slightly in and out of consciousness a bit. I do remember certain bits of it, but also I was face down in complete pitch blackness for a long time, and there's lots of flashing lights when things arrive. But time sort of, my memory of that part of it is a little bit sketchy as well.
Yeah, I think there's that sort of thing about like your brain purposely forgetting a traumatic experience, like details of it, so that you don't relive it almost.
Yeah.
Like you learn what you need to learn from it to make sure it doesn't happen again, and then the rest of it's we don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
You can erase that from your mind.
Yeah.
So talk about you were in hospital for 9 months after that. So what was that sort of experience like for yourself?
I had a lot of support. I mean, I was fairly outgoing at university. I had a lot of friends. I had my 21st birthday in hospital, and I was still on bed rest. So I had a couple of coach loads of people come down from my university down to Salisbury for my birthday, and they just basically queued round my bed, and I couldn't do much apart from talk to them all for a little while, and they sort of queued up and talked to me for a while, and then went off and had a bit of food and came back. And it was nice. It was not on my ideal 21st birthday, but under the circumstances, it was lovely to know how many people sort of cared for me and wanted to see me get better and stuff, or to move
nice.
on. But it's a lot of hospital's a hard time. I did write a book about it, which I tried to get published, but it didn't really make it in the end. And in some ways, I'm sort of slightly glad that it didn't, because you're in a frame of mind in hospital which is very different to how I feel now.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite important for people to know how much life does change, and how much your sort of what you think, the way that you feel when you're in hospital can change into to how it is now. It was hard times in hospital. It was really difficult, and there's a lot of emotions going on, a lot of things to come to terms with, and just the daily bits of being in a hospital and being away from what you're used to, and coming to terms with a life-changing thing that's happened.
Yeah, so because I always talk about when my first injury happened, when it first happened, I was sort of okay, because my purpose was to get back into the swimming straight away.
Yeah.
Did you have something that you wanted to focus on, or that gave you sort of a purpose at the time?
I suppose going back to university was a big thing. Between 2 years down there's a 3-year course, and I wanted to finish my course, and all my friends were still back at uni having a great time, and I wanted to be back there doing the same. So that was quite a focus for me. I did want to get back to that, and yeah, I had a lot of support from other friends and family and stuff, and like I'm a Christian, so my church at in my hometown were quite sort of responsive as well. They were good at sending people up to visit me and stuff as well. So you know, there were lots of things that helped me get through that time in hospital and want me to get on with things afterwards as well.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because the reason why I say it is like it feels like when you don't have a purpose, that's when like you start to get depressed and upset. Is like, was there any times like that for yourself, or?
There were some really difficult times. You know, it was probably the most emotional time of my entire life. You've got so much to come to terms with, and sometimes it was just, you know, I remember the first time that someone said your hands probably won't get much better, and I'd been in hospital. You know, your knowledge of someone with a spinal injury, the little of it that I had before my injury, was that people use wheelchairs so their legs don't work, and it's all those other things that come with the spinal injury that you don't understand about beforehand. I just imagined that whereas I could, my strength in my arms was slowly coming back, there wasn't much change in my fingers, and I was like, you know, when my fingers are going to get better. And you know, it's at that time that someone said to me, you know, you'll probably never be able to move your fingers properly. That was a real dark time, you know, just after being told that. And there's a lot to deal with in hospital, isn't there? There's a lot of emotions to go through and stuff to come to terms with, and even things like when you start getting up into a wheelchair, someone giving you a bit of wheelchairs to sort of trial in and see how they get on, and going from one that worked quite well for you to trying another one where you couldn't really do much in it, and the frustration of that. Or I had a pressure sore for some time that kept me in bed for quite a while, and just the frustration of, you know, I'm here, I want to get on with rehabbing, I want to get on with getting on with life, but I can't even get out of bed because of this pressure sore. All that stuff was really emotionally quite hard work.
Yeah, I always find that the hardest thing is like if I have to go to hospital and have to spend any time in bed, I feel it's very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
You haven't got that movement that you can like adjust very easily, and it's just sort of like I feel stuck. And yeah, that must. Fingers crossed I haven't had one.
No, I haven't since been leaving hospital. I haven't had any pressure sores, but I think you got to avoid those as much as possible, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. So like when you came out of hospital and you say like you went straight back to do uni, or was there a gap in between, or?
Well, I left hospital in April, so I missed that whole year. So I had to wait until after the summer. So I spent a lot of time, sort of trying to get myself as healthy as I could and as fit as I could. Before I went back, and then I went back in the sort of September, October of that same year, and I went back on crutches because, again, like we were talking about earlier, I was so determined that walking was the answer, sort of thing, and I was able to do it, and it felt like it was wrong not to be able to do the best that you could physically, like. So it felt that it was doing a disservice to other people with spinal injuries in a certain way if I could do some sort of walking on crutches and I wasn't doing it. And it does frustrate me a little bit as well now, sort of within spinal circles, everyone sort of compares themselves, and you know, or you're just a flesh wound, or you know, and it's just like camaraderie, but it's also probably not the best for people as well.
No, it's sort of one of those things that it's so unique and so different to each individual person.
Yeah.
You can't compare yourself. Like you just might see someone like doing pull-ups and they're doing it and then muscle up and all that, and like, you've only got a little injury, but to that person it's still affecting their life and what they're doing, and like they're just trying to do the best they can.
So I went back to uni using my car and walking, and it was such hard work that final year, because everything I did, I had to carry a bag with a long strap to, over the shoulder, and then walk with sticks, and I was just so slow, and so I just couldn't do any distance. So I'd have to find all the disabled parking spaces around the campus, and I was lucky that the campus was fairly accessible. But I'd go off to a lecture and I'd have to leave half an hour earlier so that I could park as close as I could and get up on my sticks and walk 200 metres to a lecture theatre and then do the same afterwards, and people would say, you know, do you want to go for coffee in the Students' Union? And I'm like, oh, by the time it takes me to get back into the car, drive over to there, get back out again, they'll have finished the coffee and gone. So in some ways I slightly wish I'd gone back to uni in my chair. I think if either I'd been a bit more physically able to walk on my sticks, it would have been easier, or a little bit less able, that I'd been forced to use my chair, it probably would have been a better option for me. I was sort of stuck in that in-between point where I could just about manage on sticks, but it was such hard work.
It seems to be that the incomplete quads, especially, they have this sort of awkward area where you're not quite one and you're not quite the other. Like you're not disabled enough to just be in an electric chair, which would make life very easy. Well, not very, but a lot easier. But you're not like a para or something that can push your wheelchair like it's nothing sort of thing. You're in this sort of awkward space where you can sort of need a bit of both. There's not really anything out there for that. So.
And it was a hard. It took a lot of years for me to kind of get to the point of realisation that actually I'm less disabled in my wheelchair most of the time.
It's quite interesting when you put like the wheelchair. You know, so it enables you to do more. Like whereas people would think.
And it's not the same in all situations. You know, sometimes I do still use my sticks for if I'm doing like a very short distance, but I'm not very capable on them anymore. And you know, I did a very intensive physio course to see what I could get, and after doing that for 3 months, you know, every day, 5 hours a day, then you sort of realise actually it's not all about being as the world wants to see people being able of standing up and moving around on their legs. For me, actually, I'm more able to do the things I want to do sitting down and pushing myself around a lot faster and a lot easier.
It's finding what works for you to make your life better, rather than what, you know, what other people think you should be like.
And even now talking about it, I sort of get that sort of thought of people that I know in my mind who'll go, well, no, he's walking, he should be, you know, up on his legs more and he would have got better and stuff. And it's very much it's still something that I struggle with a little bit, because I am so much better at getting on with life, not walking.
It's a difficult balance to get. Like, oh, you can do this, but I need to do this. It is a difficult balance. Like people within spinal injuries, they sort of like know about it, and like their opinion's different to someone that doesn't know about it, and it's like you've got all these people thinking about what you should be. You've got to get what's right for you. And, exactly. You got it's your life at the end of the day. You've got to find out what works for you and what makes you, and then just get on with it.
And I think I had too many years where I made things more difficult for myself, or I missed out on opportunities and things that I could have done because of trying to be upright as the world sees it, than if I'd have just got on with it and used my chair earlier. So,